Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these questions. And in case you can't see it on your PDF, I'll make sure that we go over, all of them. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is 13, and I want to go from least to greatest. So the most negative, which is -9, then -7, then -3, then -1, then 0, and then 1. And that would be from least to greatest. Then I'm going to do some absolute value. Absolute value turns everything positive. So a positive 3 becomes a positive 3, but a -1 becomes a positive 1. So this is 1 plus 3, which is 4. Okay. 18, -19 becomes a positive 19. And then a -8 becomes a positive 8, which gives me a positive 27. Okay. And these are all from your summer work, things. If you, look at, you look at it and you see, circled questions on the Google Doc. If you go to your summer work, that was given out to you, what you'll see all those circled ones, and then there's videos to all the odd numbered questions. I believe Mr. Murillo did those. And so if you want to take a look, you'll be able to see those. Okay. All right, so adding integers, I'm taking a -1 and I'm adding a -8. So that gives me a -9. Okay. 13 plus 15 gives me a 28. 19 plus a -7 is the same thing as saying 19 minus 7. So this gives me 12. -14 plus a -14 gives me a -28. -12 plus 10. So I have the -1 is the bigger one. So that gives me a -2. -5 plus a -26 gives me a more negative value, which is a -31. -46 minus 27. -46 plus 27. So essentially what you're doing 46 minus 27, but because the 46 is the bigger number and it's negative, this whole thing will be negative. So this is 19. So this is a -19. Okay. And then 55 and 33 is like saying 55 minus 33. So this gives me a 22. And my positive number was bigger. Okay. And then 29, -29 plus a -25 is like adding the two negatives together. So this gives me a -54. Okay. And these other bottom ones that are down here were assigned as part of your summer work. Okay. All right. So 15 minus 7 is 8. 3 minus 12 is a -9. Okay. -8 minus 9 is a -17. My two negatives here make a positive. So then 4 plus 12 is 16. -18 minus a -7, that becomes 18 plus 7, which is 25. -8, and then this makes a plus 9, which gives me a positive 1. -14, and then that turns into a positive 18, so I get positive 4. -19 plus 13 is a -6 because the -19 was bigger. My 8 minus a -22 gives me 30 because the two negatives become a positive. -1 minus 15 is a -16. 12 minus 19 is a -7 because the bigger number is negative. And then my two negatives become a positive, so -10 plus 5 is a -5. Okay? And then some of these middle ones were done as part of your summer work, along with these two middle ones that are right here. So we're going to do, 29, and then this is plus 4. So this gives me a 33, and then it'll be a plus 15. So I get a 48. Okay. -10 minus This will be a -8, so that turns into a plus, so I get a -2. I have a 25 minus 7, which gives me 18. Okay. And then order of operations, so I'm going to do this first. So the 22 plus 18 gives me 40. And then minus this parentheses here, which is -5 plus 11, which is 6. So then 40 minus 6, which is 34. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going, multiplying. 5 times -7 gives me -35. -3 times 12 is a -36. -8 times a -9 is a positive 72 because two negatives make a positive. -4 times 12 is a positive 48. -7, the quantity squares. I'm taking that -7 and then I'm squaring it. The square is on the outside, so this gives me a positive 49. -2 times -5 gives me 10 times -3, which is a -30. I'm going to then divide in the next set. So this is -14 over 2, which gives me a -7. 35 divided by -7 is a -5. -48 divided by -6 gives me a positive 8 because the two negatives become a positive. -66 over 6 gives me a -11. -56 over -7 gives me a -8. My two negatives become a positive, and I get 16 there. Okay. All right, moving down a little bit, maybe. Okay. So this is 9 times 16. So when you do 9 times 16, so this gives me 54. So I get 144. I have a -3 times 25, so I get a -75. I get two negatives to make a positive, so that's 10 times 4 times -3. So then I get 40 times a -3, so I get a -120. -10 times 15 is a -150 divided by 6. That actually reduces. It reduces. Now, when you reduce or you cancel out, something. So if you don't know what 150 divided by 6 is, take it by 2. So I first divide by 2 out of everybody. And then when I divide this by 2, I get 75. Okay. Then I can divide by 3 and I get 25 and it is negative. Okay. Then I get here, you can do it a couple of different ways, but the squared and the 12 cancel each other out, so this actually gives me -12. But if you don't know, then do it as 144 over -12, and you'll get -12. Okay? This is -48 divided by 8, which is -6. All right, moving right along. 3 times 13 gives me 39. 5 times 3 is 15 times 2, which is 30. 72 divided by 9 is 8 plus 7, which is 15. This is 2 plus 35, which is 37. 20 divided by 4 minus a 2. So then this is 20 divided by 2, which is 10. And then 40 divided by 4 minus 2. So then that gives me 10 minus 2, which is 8. And then what else? 6 plus 25 is 31 minus 7, which is 24. Yeah. and then divided by 6, which is 4. Okay. Adding and subtracting like terms. So my 3x and my 5x give me an 8x. And then my 5 and my negative 2 give me a positive 3. Okay. Same thing, 6x squared and a negative 5x squared is an x squared. And then 5 plus 3, which is 8. Question 7. So I have a negative 8r and a negative 7r, so I get a negative 15r. And then 8 plus a negative 7, which is a positive 1. Okay. 10, I'm going to distribute my negative to both terms. So I get negative 4x plus 4 minus 8x minus 7. So I get a negative 12x there. And I get a negative 3 there. Okay. And then let's see. Let's try 12. So I distribute again the negative. So I get 7 plus a plus 7a minus 1. My 2 a's here give me an 8a. And then I have a 7 minus 1, which is a positive 6. All right. Using distributive property, distribute the negative 7 to both terms. So I get negative 7c minus 14. Here, I can do distributive property from the right side. So then it's a negative 3h and a minus 24. And then a negative 5 distributes to a negative 20n plus 25. Simplify the expression, which is down here. 3b and 2b give me a 5b. And then 8 is by itself. And then here, my 2v, so I get 6v plus 4. Here, a negative 2f and a negative 2f give me a negative 4f. And then 3 and 8 give me a minus 5. And then negative 7s is negative 14s. And then negative 5 plus 9, which is a positive 4. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so I'm going to solve this equation. And we're going to do just these 6 that are over here. So I get negative 18 is equal to 3x minus 9. So I combine my x terms together. I add 9 to both sides. And I get negative 9 is equal to 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And I get x is equal to negative 3. My s here and my s here. So I have 25 is equal to negative 3s plus 13. Subtract both sides by 13. So I get 20. Nope, not 20. 12 is equal to negative 3s. Divide by negative 3. And I get s is equal to negative 4. Okay. 19, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute. So I get 3y plus 15 is equal to 21. Subtract 15 from both sides. So I get 3y is equal to 6. Divide both sides by 3. And I get that y is equal to 2. Here I'm going to distribute again, so I get 7p minus 21 is equal to 35. Add 21 to both sides, so I get 7p is equal to 56. Divide both sides by 7, and I get that p is equal to 8. Okay? All right. Here, to get rid of the 4 in the denominator, I'm going to multiply everybody by 4 over 1. So, and the reason why is because here I have a 4 in my denominator. I multiply by 4 over 1. Essentially what I just did is I canceled the 4's out. So I have k minus 3 is equal to 40. Add 3 to both sides. So then I get k is equal to, 43. Okay. Same thing here. To get rid of the 7, I multiply by 7 over 1. So then I get z plus 5 is equal to negative 21. Subtract 5 from both sides. So then I get z is equal to negative 36. Okay. Let's see. Next one here. Let's go ahead and do number 5. So minus 6p from both sides. So I get p minus 5 is equal to 8. Add 5 to both sides. So I get p is equal to 13. Here, minus 9z. So I get 2z minus 5 is equal to 7. Add 5 to both sides. So then I get 2z is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 2. And I keep wanting to write equals like that. So then z is equal to 6. Okay? All right. Last page. Okay. So there's two ways of doing this. Remember, I can distribute to both terms if I want to. Or I can just start out by dividing everybody by 4. So then I get 2 plus 3c is equal to, and if you don't remember what you're doing, just, write it out like this. 1, 4, 1, 6, so that's a 14. So that's equal to 14. Now you can subtract 2 from both sides, so 3c is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 3, and you get c is equal to 4. Okay? Again, distribute or not. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. And then I get negative 21 is equal to 1 minus 2n. Subtract 1 from both sides. Negative 22 is equal to negative 2n. Divide by negative 2. And I get n is equal to 11. Okay. Now this next one, so 6 and 8, you have no choice but to distribute. Oops. So I get negative 3t minus 15 plus 4t plus 2 is equal to 8. So I combine my like terms, so t, and then minus 13 is equal to 8. Add 13 to both sides, and you get t is equal to 21. And then last but not least, this last one here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to either distribute, just like I would show you here, or I'm going to go ahead and, actually I have no choice but to distribute because there's an n on the other side. So I get negative 8 minus n is equal to negative, 6n plus 12. Add 6n to both sides. Negative 8 plus 5n is equal to 12. I add 8 to both sides, so that you get 5n is equal to 20. Divide both sides by 5, and n is equal to 4. Okay? All right, so that ends your review assignment. If you have any questions, please let me know.